This is a short one. Ideally, we want to keep it simple. I'm starting with some drawing for the basic structure. I always like to start with the eyes because distance between the eyes and the placement is key for arranging the structure of the face around it. Just as a piece of information, I'm just using oil paint without any medium, and I'm dry brushing at the beginning because, of course, when we're not using any medium, the beginning strokes are a bit stiff. But it's just to keep it simple in a way, and also the fact that we're using only oil paint allows me for a more precise handling of the color and the modeling of the different parts. When we use medium, the paint tends to flow a bit more and can be a bit harder to control when we want smooth transitions. Not always. Okay, I'm blocking in darker masses of color with the reference painting that I'm using by William Bouguereau. The contrast is achieved with a lighter figure and a darker background. So this is important that we place the darker masses at the beginning of the work. Once the base tones are in place, we can start with some details. It's important not to rush into the details and focus first on the broader areas of color, at least a correct drawing of what's going to be the following brushstrokes, let's say. So now that we have more or less the area where the face is going to be placed, we can start working in some details. Right now I'm working in the nose area. I always try to do the darker areas first and build up on the lighter tones later. So mouth, nose, and the eye region are gonna get the most attention at the beginning. Don't feel bad if you go a bit too dark. It's always better to go too dark and to lighten later than to do something that is too light and then needing to darken that particular feature, because then we get a big paste of paint and it's not ideal for a good result later. So start with low quantities of paint at the beginning and build up on that. Something important that I need to add is the fact that I'm not using any white on my dark tones. Both mouth, nose, eyes, hair, and background have almost, I would say, no white. If you're gonna use a white in the darker areas, I suggest that you use zinc white, which is less aggressive than titanium. Titanium white, when you place it on a dark spot, it's gonna make it what we call milky. It's gonna destroy the quality of that dark shape. So try to avoid it as much as possible and leave it for the lighter areas. Titanium white is gonna be key when we work in the lighter details, because it's a very aggressive and opaque kind of pigment, and it's gonna make the lights pop, what we call pop out, kind of giving it a 3D quality to it. Last thing I would like to add is always keep in mind the relationship between the color temperatures. In this particular painting, the dominant light is cooler than the shadows, so we're gonna have more presence of white, blues, and some alizarin crimson in the lighter areas, versus the shadows are gonna contain warmer tones, such as some yellow ochres, maybe transparent oxide red for the shadows, and a hint of also alizarin crimson. But also keep in mind that we're gonna have a presence of all these pigments in both light and shadow to create the unifying harmony. Okay, hope you like it. That would be all for this one. Leave any questions that you might have below, and see you for the next one. Take care.